And afterwards, there were conversations about the relationship the U.S. had with Ukraine and with Russia, and that was also a moment of very great concern in in Europe. But when I was talking to them and with the foreign ministers of France, of Germany, of the EU, and also of the UK, what we were going through, and saying, hey, we're the canary in the coal mine, guys. This is coming to you. You're next. They were believing me and taking lots of notes. But this week, Trump said, the EU was created to, against the US, and 25% tariffs against the EU. And,
it's a wake-up call.
Well, I wrote to all of them. I said, I told you. And they were like, yeah, thanks, Mel. So we'll listen to you more. So no, but also why it was important is, meanwhile, I was there to organize the counter tariffs, because my point was, we've already published a $30 billion list of first tariffs. We're the only ones that have published it. They are affected already by the steel and aluminum tariffs. So we're taking our list, talking to the Europeans to make sure we all have the same list.
Do you think our relationship with the UK has changed, though, given the new-ish Prime Minister, Keir Starmer?
No, I think, I was just in London, had a really good conversation with his chief of staff. I went to 10 Downing Street. I was there on Tuesday or Friday, yeah. I was with Jonathan Powell, his national security advisor. I sat down also with the foreign minister, David Lammy. I think that just countries are figuring out, what does that mean, a change of leadership from the US and the world? And so I think, all of us, all countries are looking at ourselves, and we're anxious. We need to make sure that we organize ourselves. And by organizing ourselves, we are able to bend that arc of history I was talking to you about. So that's why counter tariffs, having the same products, targeting the same regions in the US is really, really important.
Bend the arc of history. I have not seen the video, but I understand that within the last hour or two, there was a display between Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump in the White House, which actually became an argument, which is quite hard to believe with media in the room. Have you heard about this or seen this? And then what would your reaction be to the situation with Ukraine, given you have had a lot of dealings with Ukraine?
Well, I haven't seen the video yet. Of course, my phone was just buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And I spoke to Lindsey Graham actually 15 minutes before he went into that press conference, and he was actually quite positive, and they were going to sign the critical minerals deal. And I had spoken to the chief of staff of Zelensky, Andriy Yermak, 3 days ago, to try to organize what they would say and how, and he was briefing me on their strategy. What President Zelensky right now is going through in Ukraine is similar to what we're seeing here. There's really a rallying around the flag, and he's actually extremely popular, more than maybe a month ago, because Ukrainians are really, really mad at the way that, the comments about his leadership have been expressed. And so I think that, and we've seen Ukrainians, you can never underestimate them. And President Zelensky is somebody that has gone through a long war of 3 years, having death threats against him. He has shown great leadership and courage. So I think that, he will never settle for a bad deal. And I think it is, for us, important to make sure that we work with him and with our allies on that, because if we don't get to a good deal for Ukraine, we're sending a message to Russia, and we know that President Putin has no red lines. And if he has no red lines, it means that then NATO territory is at threat, and if NATO territory is at threat, we are at threat. So that's why when you try to connect, why is Ukraine important? And why we need to make sure to support Ukrainians and European security, it is because basically we have played a role in Europe to defend Europe, but when we defend Europe, we also defend our own space, our own sovereignty, because we know that solidarity goes both ways.
Thank you so much.
Mr. President, is there no deal? Mr. President, can you tell us what happened? Is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened? Deal off.
Did you sign the minerals deal?
Why were you so disrespectful to the president?
Did you sign the deal?